Bonjour, hola, salam alaikum, guten tag, ni hao ma. My name is Professor Broussel, and Saba has gracefully invited me here today to talk about academic expectation and integrity. I am the coordinator for the Business, Legal Studies, and Real Estate program here at Chaffey College. If you ever need, if you want to come by, if you don't need anything, I'm located in the BE building, which is the Business Education building in room 139. And I love to meet our international students, so please pop in anytime. I'm also a professor. I teach these are the classes that I teach mostly: international business, intro to business, and management. The reason that I love doing this and I have a strong relationship with the International Center with Saba is I myself was once an international student. I came to the United States when I was 15 years old. I was born in France, and so I obviously speak French. When I went to college, I took 2 years of Spanish, so puedo hablar un poco de español, pero I forgot a lot. And it's just easier in French. So for those of you who are French speakers, come by the office one day. So now with our presentation on academic expectation and integrity. So a lot of students come to the United States, and wherever they grew up or have resided, maybe the expectations are different. Maybe the understanding is a little bit different about what the rules are, how the rules are applied, how the rules are enforced. So Saba has asked me to present this, and I do this every semester or every year, so that it's my way of helping you to ensure that everything is clear. One of the things that you should know, so I've taught, let me just give you a little bit of background. I've taught at Chaffey since 2000, so that's, here we are in 2024 as of today recording this video, so that's 24 years. I also taught at California Polytechnic University, Cal Poly Pomona short version, which is not far from Chaffey College. I taught there for 11 years. I taught international business, marketing, and management there. So what I'm telling you today about academic expectation and integrity really comes from a place of experience, and also knowing that things have changed since I started teaching. And so the rules are actually even more important than ever now. So first, how do you know what your professor's expectations are? I always tell students the syllabus that you will get on the first day is one of the most important documents you'll get the entire semester. I always like to use the example of maybe playing a card game, right? So your friends tell you they want to play cards with you, and it's a new game, and you don't know this game. Well, can you win the game if you don't know the rules? Can you win the game if you don't know the exceptions to the rules? You can't. So I want you to think of the syllabus in the same way. It's the professor telling you, look, these are the expectations in my class. This is what I want from you. This is what I expect from you. And by the way, these are the things that I need you to avoid, right? And unfortunately for you, students, not all professors have the same expectations, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So if you're taking a face-to-face class, an in-person class, attendance, usually there's going to be an expectation and a rule about showing up to class. I know in my class, I have a sign-in sheet, so when students come in, just sign in. In my class, personally, the sign-in sheet doesn't count for points. It's more for me to know who has been missing so that I can reach out to them and go, hey, what's going on? Are you still enrolled? In some other classes, perhaps, the professor will assign points, right? So every time you show up, you get points. So if you stop showing up, you lose points. Participation is another one. Participation means that you're taking a class, again, in person or online, and there's an expectation that you will contribute to the topic, you will contribute to the class. And I know it sounds kind of scary because, a lot of students say, well, I'm here to learn, I don't have the answers, and, what if I raise my hand and, it's the wrong thing. It's okay. I always tell students, everybody wants you to succeed. This is a safe space, especially in my class. And I always say that there's no wrong answers. There's only a correct answer to a different question. And so we have a lot of fun. If someone gives me not the answer that I was looking for, then I'll ask someone to say, well, what would be the right question for that answer? We always learn. What are the expectations on performance, right? So again, what is it, whether it's exams, whether it's presentations? I teach business, and so in the business as a major, there is a strong requirement in almost every single business class to do a presentation. Most often it's a group presentation, so it's great. You're not doing this by yourself. And this is going to follow students throughout, bachelor's degree, master's degree. The business profession wants people who are able to express ideas to their bosses. And so just kind of like the little cartoon figure over here, presentations all the time. Completion, again, when things are due. Now, in some classes, for example, your professor will say, this is a hard deadline. What that means is that if you don't submit a particular assignment by a specific date, they will not accept it and you will get a 0. In my class, for example, I have a penalty. So I will always take late work, but every day you lose 2%. So 2% is not a lot, but if you've missed 2 weeks, it's going to really add up. And also, so that's expectations from your professor, but also Chaffey College has its own expectations. So what you want to make sure is you familiarize yourself with what does Chaffey College say about all that stuff. So here we go. So that hyperlink, and Saba will give you my PowerPoint presentation. The hyperlink here directs you to student affairs, where you will see the rules for student conduct, what academic integrity means, behavior intervention team, and even student complaints. Maybe you have a complaint about somebody else in your class, or maybe a professor, you're not happy with the way things were handled. You can also grieve your grade. I tell students, you should run a spreadsheet of your own grade. I tell the same thing to my own children. When I help students in my class, any class, I tell them it's really important that the first day of class, first week of class, when they look at that syllabus, they create their own spreadsheet and they make sure they enter their grades in their own spreadsheet. Because believe it or not, sometimes there are mistakes. Professors are human and sometimes they'll make mistakes. So what if that happens? Well, obviously you go to your professor first and you say, professor, I got a C, but I believe I should get a B. Here's my spreadsheet. And if you're not able to get some answers there, then there's a process. There's a system here, student grievance process, where you can try to get some help. And then, of course, your family. You are international students. Most of you, your parents are paying good money for you to come here. So I understand there's most of the time a lot of pressure, and international students do amazing. And so you have several sets of expectation, right? Your professor's expectation, the college expectation, your family's expectation, and your own expectation. So I have a little exercise that I like to do. I know you're watching this recording, but I want you to participate. I'm going to count to 3, and on the count of 3, I want you to point north. 1, 2, 3. So now you've pointed north. Maybe Saba can pause the video here. I want you to check, maybe if you have a smartphone, I want you to check where north is and see if you were pointing in the right direction. It's an exercise that I use in my class. We call this exercise alignment to the objective. So your own mission, your own goal for yourself. Is your behavior aligned to your goal every day? Are you working towards doing the thing that's going to help you achieve your own goal, or are you doing something else, right? So that's your north. Always ask yourself, am I pointing to my own north today, or am I pointing south or east or west, right? And if you're not pointing north, just know that you're not going to be able to meet your expectation. All right, next. So support. We have tons of support. Saba is going to give you a lot of information here as well. The Writing Center, Multidisciplinary Center. We have SI leaders. Not all classes have them. I have wonderful SI leaders. So what that means is that I tell students, this is someone who took my classes, did extremely well, and then most of them transferred. They got their bachelor's, and a lot of them, my current SI leader, for example, her name is Kelsey, and Kelsey is finishing up her master's program in business, MBA, at one of the best schools out there, the Drucker School. And so what that means is that when you're working on a project in my class, you're not alone. You have this friend who can help you with the project, who did it herself a long time ago, who has helped hundreds, maybe even thousands of students since she took the class, is working at Chaffey College as an SI leader or as a tutor. We have SI leaders and we have tutors. And so it's always a good idea when you take a class to see if there's an SI leader or tutor so that you can get the help. Let's see. So what is integrity, right? So this is a word that we use, to have integrity. So integrity is adherence to a moral and ethical principle, soundness of moral character. Basically, it's honest. Oops, crap. So, sorry. It's being honest. It's honesty. And this is your regular basic dictionary definition. Now, Chaffey College Student Behavior Code, I kind of showed you the page. I'm not going to go through the whole thing now, but there's a lot of resources from Chaffey that explains what the expectations are for you and your behavior. So here's what I did. I did some screenshots so that you guys see what we see as professors. So this is from one of my students. I erased the name, but this is someone who submitted an assignment. Now, we use various software on campus. One of them is called Turnitin, but there's more than one. And what it will do for us, it'll check similarity. So if a student completed an assignment in New York and submitted it in a class that uses Canvas and that uses Turnitin, I will get a similarity flag here that will let me know, hey, this is 90% like this other paper that was submitted at New York University. But it also will detect AI, artificial intelligence. And in this particular case, this student, most of the paper here, 78%, was created with AI, which is very unfortunate. Now, in my case, this is how I handle it. The student obviously gets a 0 on this assignment. And then I send an email. I say, I'm disappointed. It's not necessary to do this. The assignments in my class are not that difficult. You just have to do the work. It might take a couple of hours, but just do the work. For those of you who are familiar with Brexit, this is an assignment about Brexit, Great Britain leaving the European Union. And this assignment is trying to understand how it affected negatively the economy of the UK. I think it's a fun assignment, but it takes time. Unfortunately, sometimes students are under pressure. Maybe they wait until the last minute. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. So are you allowed to use AI? Are you not allowed to use AI? So the first thing I want to tell you is check syllabus for the policy on AI. Every professor is different. I don't allow AI for writing paper, but I will allow you to research it with AI. However, here's what you should know. If you use ChatGPT, for example, to research for a paper, ChatGPT will give you data that's 3 years old. So for us, that's not useful. In global business, that's just, and by the way, even if in this particular case, our AI checker didn't let me know, I would have known there's a problem because we're in 2024 and I'm getting data from 2021. And so mentally, I already know, most likely they used AI, and then I would check. So most professors do not allow the use of AI, and only use AI if your professor allows it and follow the conditions based on their syllabus. So again, the ones that allow it and say it's only for research, it's only Some even have assignments that involve AI. I know a couple of professors in the English department who have done that. So next, we have, in this case, this is an example, kind of what I mentioned before. This is, someone who submitted this in 2021. Again, I blanked out their names, obviously. But what it shows you is that 67% of this paper was copied from another paper that was already submitted by another student at Chaffey College. So someone had a friend, they took the class and decided to just maybe copy most of it. Just don't do it. Again, it's just not worth it. And also, I want to add to that. As a marketing professor, I will ask you this. Your name is your brand, right? Your name is your brand. So if your name is Susie Smith, right? And you're taking a class and you participate, and when you write assignments, you do a really good job. You work extra hard. Sometimes you even maybe add value by teaching something to your professor that maybe he didn't know, she didn't know, right? And that professor is going to remember that, like, whoa, Susie Smith, amazing. And maybe that professor, as I do, when they need a TA, when they need an SI leader, they're going to think, who'd be really good for that role? Susie Smith, right? But what if I have Becky Jones? And Becky Jones is the one that submits papers that are 67% 67% plagiarized or uses AI and maybe does it more than once. What's the brand of Becky Jones? Is it a good brand? Is it a strong brand? Is it a brand that as a professor I can recommend? Because one day Becky Jones is going to ask me for a letter of recommendation. She's going to go, maybe she wants to transfer to UCLA and she wants a letter of recommendation from her professor. Can I do that? Can I say, I recommend Becky Jones to go to UCLA. She's fantastic. Ask yourself, would you? Right? So again, your behavior speaks and lets your professor and lets everybody in your class know who you are, what kind of student you are, how you behave. Your name is your brand. Just remember that. Your name is your brand. And your professors, you want them to know that you have a strong brand. You have a strong name. Let me add one more thing. Having a good reputation is something that takes a long time to build. Professionally, in school, little by little, after 3 years, 2 years, 4 years, people start to know, hey, Susie Smith, she's pretty amazing. But it takes very little to hurt that reputation. Susie Smith unfortunately plagiarized one paper. I don't know anymore, right? Don't do it. It's just not worth it. All right, let's see. Again, you'll see another one here. This one went outside of Chaffey for resources. So this particular one here went for this critical thinking assignment, copied from something called Course Hero and some other website here. They thought maybe if I use two different websites, they won't know. 79% plagiarized, right? And then this is another one. When you take a quiz online, we can see everything, just so you know. It tells us everything. So this is a student who decided to research every question for a quiz online. And it tells us everything. How long they took, how long it took them to find the answer before the next question. So that's another, way of plagiarizing. All of this can lead to very bad outcome. Now, I tell my students, I'm not a police officer and I don't want to be a police officer. Please do not make me a police officer. What do I mean by that? I give you one warning and you keep doing it. Maybe I give you a second warning and you keep doing it. That's it. After a while, I have to email my boss, Dr. Yolanda Friday. And this is a copy of an email from 2021. Obviously, I took out the names of the students. But this is just so that you can see this is real. This is very real. Someone is getting kicked out. Someone is getting dropped, right? All that over academic integrity. You guys are paying a lot of money, right? International students, you're paying a lot of money for a class. What would happen if you get dropped from a class? What happens? You have to have 12 units and you get dropped halfway through the semester. It would be really bad for you. Um, and so, what are the consequences? You have to look at the professor's philosophy, what the degree of violation is, and what's the potential outcome. Maybe it's zero on an assignment, zero on an exam. It could be removal from the class. It could be expulsion from Chaffey College. It has happened, just so you guys know. If the severity is bad enough, it has happened. And usually through an administrative hearing and dismissal. Again, all of that is available. When Saba gives you my PowerPoint, you'll see some examples over here about suspending students. That's it for me. Here's what I want to let you know. One of the classes that I love, every professor, when they teach, maybe there's something they're really passionate about. And for me, it's global business. It's international business. I love, love, love international business. It's so much fun. And the best experience in my class, and this usually half in fall, I teach the class in person, and in spring, I teach it online. So if you're seeing this at the beginning of fall, it means it's in person. The class is called Intro to Global Business, BUS 61. This is what I want to tell you. I want you to consider taking that class if you need it. Ask Saba. And the reason is that in this class, you are the expert. I'm going to tell you something. Having been at Chaffey College since 2000, most of my students who are born in Southern California, most of them do not have a passport. And most of them have never left the United States. Some have never left California. So when you are in this class, you get to share part of the world with my American students. And it's wonderful because they learn so much from you. You are the expert. So I want you to consider that. If you need an extra class or if the class is right for you, talk to Saba. I would love to see you in my global business class because you belong in that class. All right, this is how you get in touch with me. This is my phone number. Usually email is best because if you ask me a question, I can't give you a file over the phone. So if you have a question, you can email me directly and I will send you anything you need. As I said earlier, my office is in a business building, business education, BE, not to be confused with BEB, which is a different building. So only BE, not BEB. And it's 139, BE 139. When you see a fountain, my office is right next to the fountain. I hope to meet you guys, and I want to welcome you again to Chaffey College, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful semester.